You wanted the best and you got it. The hottest late night program in Northwest Arkansas. Later with Jason Suel.
Like the moves that you're doing on purpose. Sing like a singing on key. Talk to the girl that intimidates you. Pretend that you're brilliant and charming. I said pretend that you're brilliant and charming. Hey!
Welcome, everybody. Later with Jason Suel. So glad that you are tuned in to the show. It's summer. All summer things are still happening, even though
you can't stop summer.
It looks a little bit different, feels a little bit different. Speaking of summer and like concerts, I'm missing some of our concerts at the AMP, but I see that you have a band on your show there, Bocats. What are you wearing?
Oh, yeah. It's the hottest band in the world, baby. Kiss. Yeah, speaking of concerts, you know, this year they were doing their final tour ever. No joke. And I got to see them once earlier in the year, and I had plans to go see them again, but the tour has been postponed kind of somewhat indefinitely until we figured it out. So thought I'd represent my boys. That would have been my 7th time seeing them live.
7th time, and presumably the final time. So I guess you've already had the final concert experience.
I mean, if I don't get to see him again, I got to see him at least once on this tour. And I'm telling you, those guys, even pushing 70 and 80, put on a better show than 90% of the bands that I see. Like, they're incredible.
I can only hope that when I'm 70, 80 years old, I am still able to stand. You know what I mean?
Right? Much less in 7-inch platform heels doing a high kick.
Exactly. So kudos to those guys. Oh man, we got a packed episode. It's just a perfect kind of summer episode. We're hanging out with amazing violinist Asha Mevlana. Asha lives here in Northwest Arkansas. She tours the world with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, plays violin.
Concerts.
I mean, it's amazing. And she has curated kind of a quarantine music video with an uplifting message. We're going to showcase that on the show as well. And then we're going downtown with Chef Simon Brown from Blake Street.
Simon
Yes,
Brown?
That's the one. Man, he's awesome, and he's going to be cooking up some fun stuff for us on the show. So I don't know. It's going to be a fun episode. It's going to feel right for this summertime.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait. All right, folks, stick around. We got all those things happening later. Are you tired of sitting at home on a Saturday night and feeling like a common person?
Common person.
Are you tired of feeling unimportant, even in your own home? I'm Jason Suel from Later with Jason Suel, here to tell you a little more about our show, Later with Jason Suel. Did I say the name of the show already in that now? What's the show about? Watch the show if you want to experience
Guest interviews, up-and-coming musicians, a house band, a sense of self-worth, a salty co-host.
Sounds too good to be true, right? There's more, including
Casey Gario sings, Chef Stephen Brooks drums, and combined they have a better attitude than our house band.
Why? 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 Why, Jason? Why?
Sorry about that. Watching Later with Jason Suel is a great way to have a unique experience with your family, your friend, your more than friend. Plus, you will get to know me, and I can assure you that I'm painfully normal and less impressive than you originally thought. All of this hits your television screen every Saturday night at 9:30 on Fox 24 and on the YouTube for the whole world to enjoy. What? Please watch. We good?
Sam's Furniture doing good. Shine a spotlight on your neighborhood.
Well, we're relaxing here at Sam's Furniture, and we've got Brandon Swoboda, Habitat for Humanity, Washington County, joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Tell me about the work that the Washington County Habitat for Humanity does.
Yeah, so we're focused on helping low-income families achieve home ownership. And the way that they do that is they come to us as a partner family. They put in 300 hours of sweat equity. We find volunteers like you, sponsors come alongside. We build the house together. They buy the house from Habitat at a 0% interest loan and become homeowners.
Wow, that's such an amazing thing. You know,
It really
you hear
is.
about Habitat for Humanity all the time, but to hear that it's happening right here in
right
Northwest
here
Arkansas, Washington County.
That's right.
great.
Yeah, that's right.
If people are watching, they want to get involved, maybe they want to contribute some hours, maybe they want to volunteer. How can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so they can find us on the web, Habitat for Humanity, Washington County, or you can find us on Facebook as well and help these low-income families get into home ownership. It's pretty awesome.
It's so important. Brandon,
Yeah.
thank you for taking the time.
I wonder if Sam's would take sweat equity for this table.
Welcome back, everybody. Later with Jason Suel. So glad you're tuned in. We've got Asha Mevlana joining us. Thank you so much. You're such a prolific artist who lives right here in Northwest Arkansas, and we're privileged to have you on the show. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, so fill our audience in. What is your instrument? What do you play?
Hey, wait, before you even tell me, I see a violin.
Oh, yep, that's one of them.
You play one of those?
Yeah, gave it away. I play violin.
What age did you start playing the violin?
So I started playing Suzuki violin at age 6, and then I played all the way through high school and college. And you know, a lot of my friends had gone on to music conservatories or music schools, and I'd always been told, you know, it's too hard to be a professional musician. You can't make a living, and so I chose to believe them. And so I did not think I was going to be a musician at all. I actually graduated and moved to New York City and decided I was going to climb the corporate ladder and make a lot of money and go into the corporate world. So, right.
But I think that's interesting that you bring that up, because that's similar to me when I went to school and I wanted to get a degree. Like, theater is my background, and I eventually did get a advanced degree, a master's degree in theater. But when I was getting my undergrad, I listened to those same voices that said you can't really make a career in the arts. And so I just chose kind of a general communication degree because I thought that there was more opportunity for me with that degree. And so it took me, and I'm hearing a similar story, it took you a little bit before you kind of came back around to what you're really passionate about.
Yeah, it's so true. And I think it's hard when you have a lot of people telling you that and you don't have like kind of these mentors that are like, no, this is the way you do it. And I think, you know, with a theater background or music background, you kind of have to carve your own way. It's not like this laid out path for you, which can be difficult, but also really exciting.
Yeah.
And so I guess for me, you know, the reason I ended up coming back to music was I actually ended up getting diagnosed with breast cancer a year out of college. And that just threw me off. And, you know, I'd always been healthy.
Different world perspective shift.
Completely, like overnight. Yeah. I basically went through all my treatments in New York City, and then I just decided I was going to go for it. So I got on a plane when it was all over and I was healthy again with a couple suitcases, and I flew to LA, and I didn't know anyone. And it was the scariest thing I've ever done. So from there, I just started meeting people, and, you know, it took a little bit of time, but I started playing and pretty much taking any gig I could possibly get. And and ended up getting really lucky and having some incredible experiences out in LA. And I even joined this band that was signed to Universal Records. And as a musician, I thought, if I get signed by a major label, then that means I've made it. That was like always my standard. And then we were signed for 5 years. We moved to Australia to release this record, and everything fell apart. We had no tours lined up. It was a disaster. We ended up getting dropped, and I was like, okay, this is the end of my music career. And I really was, I wouldn't say I was okay with that, but I was, you know, I was okay thinking of other ways to move on from that. So I decided to go back to film school to learn a little more how to edit. And it was like an intensive 8-month program. I was done with music. I don't even think I touched my violin during those 8 months. I think it was my last week of film school. I got an email from someone at the Trans-Siberian Orchestra asking me to fly to Florida for an audition. So it's kind of crazy.
And so then fast forward a little bit, you are currently playing with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, right?
I go on tour with them, every year during Christmas.
Yeah. Wow, that's huge. Now, I'm assuming that maybe some of your video editing skills come into play with this music video that we're going to showcase on this episode of the show. So tell us about this collaborative experience in this music video that you all put together during the time of quarantine and the pandemic?
My friend Chloe, who's a singer in the video and on the track, she's also an arranger, and so she came up with this idea on the Zoom call, like, how do we still create music during this time of quarantine, and potentially, you know, figure out a way to kind of give back also. And so she created this track of this medley of 3 songs, and, you know, I put out a post on Facebook and asked people to send in videos and pictures of how they're spending quarantine or how they're connecting with other people. And also local heroes in their community, people who are working on the front lines to keep us safe every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful and it's amazing. And again, folks, you're going to have an opportunity to hear that song and see that music video coming up a little bit later in the show. I wonder, what is one takeaway that when people see that music video, you hope that they glean, you hope that they take away and remember from your efforts?
You know, during quarantine, I think a lot of people are going through this roller coaster of emotions. You have good days, but you have a lot of low times too. And it can be really hard. You know, you can feel really lonely. And so what I would hope, and what I got out of it for me personally, was I all of a sudden, even though I can feel really alone during this time, I all of a sudden realized, like, we are all in this together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's a message that we've seen time and time again. Asha, thank you so much for taking the time to tell us about your journey, about your story. Obviously, ladies and gentlemen, she is a world-class violinist. She lives here in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and she's put together a beautiful music video that we're going to have a chance to hear a little bit later in the show. So stick around. All those things happening later.
Our musical guest brought to you by Walton Arts Center. Walton Arts Center, presenting the West Street Live series.
You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we're gonna walk it out. We're gonna walk it out. Move
Welcome back, everybody. Later with Jason Suel. We are joined now by the one, the only Chef Simon Brown, executive chef at Blake Street. So glad you're joining us, Simon. Thanks for taking the time.
Hey, thank you for having me on, guys. I sure appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. So before you step into the kitchen, what are you going to be creating today?
Today I'm going to be making a summer veg galette. A bunch of local vegetables from the farmers market in downtown Bentonville. We're going to stuff that with some Brava sauce, top it with a Sunnyside fried egg, do it with a bit of arugula pickled red onion salad, and finish it with a little bit of goat's cheese. Perfect summer dish.
That sounds amazing. Do you guys deliver?
Yes, we do.
Well, go ahead, Simon, downtown Simon Brown. Step into the kitchen and start to put that thing together for us. We want to watch.
Thank you. Now, you can use like a pie crust for this, or a rough kind of pastry. You can use puff pastry because I'm kind of old school. I like the old school French style. It's a very nice, light, buttery piece of pastry. I'm going to roll a little bit of flour here. Just going to roll it out. So it's nice.
Just like Grandma used to do.
So all I'm going to do is grab a fork, and I'm just going to prod just the middle. This will stop it from rising in the middle because we don't want it to have too much hair. This is our veggie mix that we have. So here we have sliced zucchini, sliced red onion, sliced bell peppers, and sliced eggplant. Slice it very, very thin. We top it with a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper, and then we roast it just to give it a bit of.
So only sliced vegetables, no diced, no chopped, no julienne, just sliced.
Nice and sliced thin. This is your dish. You can have them thick, you can have them thin, you can have them diced. So here all we've got is a nice, simple, basic tomato sauce. Let's put this into the middle of our pastry, where we pricked it with a fork. Okay. Right here, I'm just going to slice and slice.
It's like a big dumpling.
Fold it up, and you want the pastry to kind of overlap itself.
Okay.
You make it look so easy, Chef. Every time I try to do something.
This is easy. All right, so here we have our galette. So, crack an egg. Gently dab that on top of our pastry. What we're going to do is we're going to put this in an oven about 375 for about 15 minutes. We're going to put the galette. It's not too hot, it's just nice and warm. All right, we're in the top.
Perfect. The chefs always make it look so easy.
Yeah.
Finish it with some White River cream with goat's cheese on top of your galette.
Look at that. That looks absolutely amazing, Chef. Well done.
So here comes the fun part.
Oh, there's more.
He's going to eat it. He's going to open it up and make us jealous. Oh!
Look at that! Look at that! Oh!
It's definitely the old pour.
Yeah.
So
for folks who don't know, where is Blake Street? Where can folks find you?
Blake Street is actually on Blake Street in Bentonville. It's just behind the 21C Museum Hotel.
Yeah.
It's actually in the Blake Street House, which is an iconic building of Bentonville. We're a private members club. We look for our members to get to their personal best. We want them to support our community, like wherever possible, through any cause. We kind of want our members to kind of step out of the norm. Like their career is outside, and in here we want to know the member. We want to know like the real you. So we host a bunch of different events, from anything from pirate storybook reading, which we have an event for tomorrow, to going out in the Ozarks and learning how to build a fire and survive like a survivalist, like a Bear Grylls thing.
How do you become a member? Because all I heard was I can't go get that galette because I'm not a member. So
what you need to do is go to the website, so www.blakest.com, and then just follow it from there.
Yeah, that's great. I don't know that even our friends who have been on our show before, 37 North Expeditions, I think have done. So when you're talking about headed out into the Ozarks, I know they've been doing some stuff there with you as well.
Yep. We team up with 37 North, and we seem to, and we're doing a lot of great events and a lot of expeditions with them too. It's great. They're phenomenal.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time, Simon, to hang out with us. That dish looks amazing, and of course, we're going to have all of that information for you folks. You can find it later at jasonsuel.com. Stick around. We got more happening later. Well, that's our show. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Remember, you can find us out there on your social media platforms. Send us an email over at laterwithjasonsuel.com. And before we go, we got to thank our amazing guests, including Asha Mevlana, for first of all, for joining us on the show, but also just for curating that amazing quarantine music video. Very uplifting. Thanks, Asha.
And also sending out some big thanks to Chef Simon Brown from Blake Street, hitting us with that amazing dish.
That's right. We'll see you later, alligator.
After all, crocodile.